conversation over there. It's for not immediately emptying her bench at that last time out. And
her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
From college superstar to WNBA rookie, Caitlin Clark's journey has been anything but smooth. Just when you thought she was settling in, a shocking incident with Skylar Diggins-Smith has fans up in arms. What really went down on the court, and why is everyone talking about it? From college superstar to WNBA sensation, Caitlin Clark's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. But how exactly did she go from dominating NCAA courts to becoming the most talked about rookie in years? It all started with the draft. As the #1 overall pick, Clark stepped into the WNBA with a target on her back. Everyone was watching, waiting to see if she'd live up to the hype. And let me tell you, the pressure was intense. Imagine stepping onto the court knowing that every single opponent has spent hours studying your every move. That's exactly what Clark faced from day one. As Tamika Catchings put it, every single night, the opponent's game plan is structured around Caitlin Clark. That's some serious attention for a rookie. But here's where it gets real. These aren't just any opponents. We're talking about the best of the best in women's basketball, veterans who've been dominating the league for years, and they're not about to let some rookie come in and steal their spotlight without a fight. So how's Clark handling this pressure cooker? Well, it hasn't been a smooth ride. She's had to adjust to a whole new system, new teammates, and a level of play that's light years beyond college ball. There have been games where she's lit up the scoreboard with over 30 points, leaving fans and critics in awe. But there have also been nights where she's struggled to hit double digits. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that normal for a rookie? And you'd be right. Even the greatest players have their ups and downs when they first enter the league. But for Clark, every move is under a microscope. Every success is celebrated and every failure is scrutinized. But here's the kicker. Despite all this pressure, Clark isn't just surviving, she's thriving. And I've got the numbers to prove it. Remember that rookie record for assists I mentioned earlier? Well, Clark didn't just break it, she shattered it. With 232 assists, she blew past Tisha Penicheiro's previous record of 224. That's not just good, that's historically good. Think about what that means for a second. In a league full of seasoned pros, Clark is setting up her teammates for success at a rate we've never seen from a rookie before. She's not just scoring, she's making everyone around her better. But hold up, before you start thinking this is all sunshine and rainbows, there's more to this story, because with great success comes, well, let's just say not everyone's thrilled about Clark's meteoric rise. You see, Clark's not just facing tough defense on the court, she's also dealing with some serious heat off it. There's talk of jealousy, of veterans feeling threatened by this young upstart who's stealing all the headlines. And it's not just talk, we've seen some seriously physical play aimed at Clark. There was that hard foul from Chicago Sky's Kennedy Carter that had everyone talking. Clark herself said it was not a basketball play.
Her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench as the officials are going to take a look at what just transpired between Carter and Clark.
But it doesn't stop there. Clark's been vocal about the physicality she's facing, saying, "I feel like I'm getting hammered." And when a player of her caliber says something like that, you know it's not just your average rookie complaining. Remember that hard foul from Kennedy Carter we talked about? Well, that was just the beginning. The real drama unfolded after a game between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm. Picture this. The final buzzer sounds and Clark's celebrating a big win. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Skylar Diggins-Smith bumps into her. Not just a little nudge, but a full-on body check. Now, you might think, what's the big deal? It's a contact sport, right? But this wasn't during play. This was after the game was over.
over there. It's for not immediately emptying her bench at that last time out.
And it wasn't just any bump, it was deliberate, aggressive, and caught everyone off guard. The reactions were instant and intense. Social media exploded. Fans weren't just upset, they were outraged. Comments flooded in, accusing Diggins-Smith of jealousy. One fan didn't mince words. Jealousy causes hatred, and it's sad to witness. Ouch. But here's where it gets really interesting. It wasn't just fans speaking out. Even WNBA legend Tamika Catchings weighed in. She didn't hold back, calling it like she saw it. The cheap shot? I don't agree with that. The fact that the referees didn't take the time, I was really surprised. When a Hall of Famer like Catching speaks up, you know it's serious. She's not just talking about one incident, she's pointing out a bigger problem. Why didn't the refs step in? Why wasn't there any consequence? And it's not just this one incident. Clark's been vocal about the physical treatment she's been getting across the league. In her own words, "I feel like I'm getting hammered." That's a pretty strong statement from a rookie, especially one who's used to the physical play of college basketball. Some fans are even saying there's a bounty on Caitlin Clark. That's some serious talk. It's like Clark's success has painted a target on her back, and some players might be taking it too far. So how's Clark handling all this? Is she crumbling under the pressure? Breaking down from the physical play? Not even close. This rookie's made of tougher stuff. Instead of complaining or backing down, Clark's letting her game do the talking. Remember that assist record we mentioned? That happened after these incidents. She's not just surviving the rough treatment, like she's thriving despite it. But here's the thing, Clark's journey isn't just about one player anymore. It's shaking up the entire WNBA. The league's facing some tough questions. How do they protect their stars without changing the physical nature of the game? How do they handle the massive influx of new fans Clark's bringing in? And it's not just about protection on the court, it's about the image of the league. When new fans tune in to see Clark play, what are they seeing? Are they watching amazing basketball, or are they seeing what looks like unfair targeting of a rising star? The WNBA's at a crossroads. They've got a once-in-a-generation talent in Clark, bringing in record crowds and TV ratings, but they've also got a league full of established stars who aren't ready to step aside for the new kid on the block. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's reshaping the entire WNBA landscape. And we're not talking small changes here, we're talking seismic shifts that are felt across the entire league. Let's start with the numbers, because they're mind-blowing. The Indiana Fever Clark's team has already surpassed their entire 2023 home attendance. And get this, they did it in just 5 home games of the 2024 season. 5 games, that's not just impressive, that's game-changing. But it's not just about butts and seats. TV ratings are through the roof. People who've never watched a WNBA game in their lives are suddenly tuning in. Why? Because they want to see what all the fuss is about with this Clark kid. Now, you might be thinking, sure, but is this just a flash in the pan? Good question, but here's the thing. This isn't just about one player having a good season. This is about a fundamental shift in how people view women's basketball. Tamika Catchings, a WNBA legend, called this moment unprecedented. That's not a word you throw around lightly. When a Hall of Famer says something's never happened before, you know it's big. But here's where it gets complicated. Not everyone in the league is thrilled about all this attention on Clark. Some veterans are feeling a bit overshadowed. Can you blame them? They've been grinding for years, building this league, and suddenly all eyes are on the new kid. It's creating a weird tension in the WNBA. On one hand, you've got this incredible boost in visibility and fan interest. That's great for the league as a whole, but on the other hand, you've got players who feel like their contributions are being overlooked. And then there's the physicality we talked about earlier. The league's facing some tough questions about player safety. How do you protect your stars without changing the fundamental nature of the game? It's a tightrope walk, and the WNBA is right in the middle of it. Some say the league isn't doing enough. Others argue that basketball is a physical sport, and Clark needs to toughen up. It's a debate that's raging on social media, in sports bars, and probably in the WNBA offices too. But here's what's really interesting. All this controversy, it might actually be good for the WNBA. As one commentator put it, any publicity is good publicity. People are talking about women's basketball in a way they never have before. And that's powerful. And think about it. The WNBA has struggled for years to get the kind of visibility that the NBA enjoys. Now, thanks to Clark, they're front and center. Every controversy, every big game, every record-breaking performance, it's all fuel for the fire of public interest. But it's not just about attention. Clark's presence is challenging some long-held assumptions about women's basketball. She's showing that women can play with the same kind of flair and excitement that fans love in the men's game. She's proving that women's basketball can be a major draw both in person and on TV. And that's where the real transformation is happening. Clark isn't just changing how people view her, she's changing how people view the entire sport of women's basketball. And this is bigger than one player. It's bigger than one season. season. What we're seeing is a potential turning point for the WNBA, a moment where the league could go from niche interest to mainstream phenomenon. But it's not a guarantee. The WNBA needs to navigate these waters carefully. They need to capitalize on the Clark effect without alienating their other stars. They need to address concerns about player safety without losing the intensity that fans love. And they need to turn this surge of interest into long-term fan engagement.